I'll start with injuries for you guys. Michael Carter II, he's in the concussion protocol. He looks optimistic for Sunday. Griff is good to go, and then Corey Davis is having core muscle surgery, so his season's over.
I'm sorry, Robert, you just cut out for a second on the last one on Corey's. Could you just repeat that again?
Yeah, he's having a core muscle surgery procedure done tomorrow, so his season's over.
Did you mention LDT? I don't know if you mentioned him.
He's going to be day-to-day with his ankle.
Do you think that Corey, made it worse? I guess he made it worse yesterday, right? By that, do you think he aggravated it and maybe should not have been playing and came back too soon?
That's a fair question. He was cleared, went through a lot of different procedures to try to get that thing ready to roll, and it's unfortunate. It just it finally gave out on him.
How tough a blow is that, Robert, to your offense, and then for Corey having a season end early?
I felt awful for Corey. He's one of the true pros in this league. Goes about his business the right way. Shows up every day to work. He does everything. So for his season to be cut short, I know he's hurt, but at the same time, we'll get him back next year. He'll be better than ever. So.
Robert, what does that mean for the rest of the receiving core in terms of who needs to step up, who you guys are going to look to kind of fill that role?
It's the same. Corey's missed games before, we love our receiving group. With Elijah Moore and Mims is back in the fold, and obviously Berrios and Crowder and Keelan Cole. Hopefully, we get him back this week off of COVID. But then you got Jeff Smith. There's a lot of pieces there. Feel really good about that receiver group, and not one person has to step up. They just need to continue doing their job and run the offense the way it needs to be run and make something happen when the ball hits in the hands.
Robert, CJ spoke yesterday about feeling like the Eagles kind of disrespected you guys, said Fletcher Cox laughed at something with you. Are you seeing these things, and how do you feel about what you're seeing or what he said?
No, he's on the field. All the trash talking and all that stuff, it can be frustrating. CJ's 100% right. Respect in this league is earned. It's not given. And as an organization, we've got to find a way to go take it. No one's going to give it to us. No one's going to give us calls. No one's going to feel sorry for us. And this organization has been through a rough time over the last 10 years, and it's not something that's easy to fix. It's not easy to change a narrative. It's not easy to change perception. CJ's 100% right. I got his back on that one, and that we're going to get this thing flipped, and we're going to change the narrative, and we're going to earn the respect that we deserve. And while it might be frustrating now, I know that there's something good happening, and it's going to happen.
After reviewing the film, Robert, did you feel like there were some penalty calls that either went against you or did not go your way?
No, you can say that every week. Connor, it gets a little, you get frustrated because you're looking for a little consistency, but I'm sure there's calls that they wish they had for them too. So it's those refs have a really hard job. They got a rule book that's as thick as the Bible, and it's not easy, but at the same time, the league's job is to hold them accountable, and that's what happens at the end of every game. We go through our procedure, the league goes through their procedure, and but at the end of the day, their job's not easy, but at the same time, there is a level of consistency that I'm sure we're all looking for.
Robert, reviewing the film today, just defensively, was there anything that stood out to you watching that different than watching it live, that areas of concern?
The time of possession stuff in the second half, we held them to 3 field goals, so we kept them out of the end zone, so that was good. We had some opportunities on third downs all throughout the game to really change some stuff. So in the first half, we had a 3rd and 6 that Goddard gets a touchdown on, I believe. We also have a 3rd and 18. We call timeout. We're trying to get the ball back to see if we can finish the ball at the half. Finish the half of the ball. We have a young man fall, and they get a first down. In the second half, we have we go off sides. We get a 3rd and 10 penalty. Get some field goal. We have the next drive, that 4th and 1. overturning a 4th and 1 in a scrum. So it's I thought our defense was playing their tails off. That's a really good football team, really good offensive line. Did we miss opportunities? Absolutely. Credit to them for being patient, being deliberate, the way they called their game and the way they leaned on us. But at the same time, there's opportunities to be had, and when you get presented with those opportunities, you have to strike. Otherwise, what happened yesterday is going to happen. They can just bleed out the clock and make something look really, really bad when it wasn't world ending.
Robert, did their tight end usage, especially early in the game, I think on the first series, they were in 2 or 3 for pretty much every play. Did their tight end usage cause any issues for you guys that maybe you weren't anticipating?
No, Goddard's one of the better ones in the league. We got to be better. We got to coach it better, especially at tight end screen. A guy like 88 who doesn't block. If they use him to block, they're doing themselves a disservice. So if he is blocking you, something's up. Just little indicators that we got to be better at. We got to coach it better. And the reality is it was really one of them. And the second one they hit us on, it's just a matter of just executing the defense, setting an edge, and let pursuit come. It's a 5-yard gain, but there was that one big play on the screen, and then the rub route that created the touchdown. They did get us on the first series with 36-yard the touchdown over Mosley, where we can get the middle third safety save us. But it wasn't surprising because at the end of the day, it came down to 88-6 in our opinion. And shoot, even Nick Sirianni talked about it. The offense rolls through 88-6, and we need to be better. We need to coach it better.
Robert, how many of this team's defensive struggles do you believe are kind of a result of there not being that many resources devoted to fixing and addressing the defensive side of the ball, and some of the resources that you guys did invest in the defense have either been missing games or just not playing due to injuries and other reasons?
Well, you guys know my philosophy on that one with regards to player A to Z in this league. They need an opportunity. They need a chance to go out there and perform. They need a chance to go get reps and learn and get better and grow. And I feel like I know yesterday didn't go the way we wanted, but I do feel like the back end, especially those young guys in the back end, are getting better every week. Did yesterday work out the way we wanted? No. Do we think we played well against Miami for the most part? Yes. Did we play well against Houston? Heck, yes. Do we have a chance to line up tomorrow, this week against New Orleans and do it again? For sure. But, when you're dealing with a young team, there's going to be some ebbs and flows. And while the outside world is so fixated on results, and deservedly so, you should be. But it's in-house. We see guys getting better. We see guys taking the right steps. We see a Bryce Hall who's turning into a legitimate corner. We see Ashton Davis getting better. Elijah Riley coming off someone's practice squad and getting better every week. Michael Carter, who was drafted in the 5th round, becoming a staple at nickel, and Goodry stepping up at corner. There's a lot of young guys doing a lot of good things in the back end, and we got to help them more, especially in games where you're dealing with an offensive line the caliber of Philadelphia's in terms of getting after the passer and getting them off the spot. But overall, I do see a lot of progress in that group, and it's something that we're going to continue to attack over the next 5 weeks.
We'll take a couple more for Coach.
Robert, in these last 5 games, how much does it fall on you guys, the coaching staff, to help get this defense turned in the right direction? I mean, the past 6 out of the last 9 games, you guys are giving them 400 yards. So how much does this fall on the coaching staff to get this ship right in the last 5 games?
I always look inward, and I expect everybody in the organization to look inward, whether you're a player, coach, equipment guy, it doesn't matter. Look inward. How can we help ourselves? How can we help everyone be a little bit better? So to answer your question, DJ, yeah, I do look at coaches to get this fixed, but at the same time, I would hope that the players look inward and find a way to get this fixed, and everybody put it in the hand to find a way to get this fixed, because at the end of the day, we're in this together, and if everyone's working relentlessly to get this fixed, it will. And, if we sat here last week talking about how the defense took a huge step and they were getting better, and 1 week doesn't necessarily you don't want 1 week to throw it all away. There's growth happening, and the growth in the second half, while they were able to possess the ball for as long as they did, we held them 3 field goals. We were able to keep them out of the end zone. We had a couple of goal-to-goal opportunities that we were able to stand up on. So there's a lot of silver linings to take out of it. It's hard to when you lose, but like I've always said, whether you win or lose, you've got to be able to take learning moments and find the good and the bad and find ways to get better.
Robert, on the CJ thing and kind of setting a standard here. Talking to guys through the years that have come from other teams, it feels like there's kind of a standard that's understood in places like Pittsburgh or Baltimore or New England, teams that have won over and over. That hasn't existed here, like you just said, for the last 10 years. How hard is that to establish, that standard when you don't have older players passing that down to younger players?
That's a great question to ask. So this is the 5th time I've been a part of one of these, and it's a son of a gun. It's because the best coach teams are the teams that coach themselves, and that's players. Players run the locker room, and you do your best. It's like raising a child. You raise your child with all the traditions and fundamentals that you want your child to be grown up with, and you hope to God to pick the right friends. That's raising a child, right? So it's the same thing. You give them every tool, every avenue, and every bit of philosophy you can, and you just want them to take it over, and you hope that they do it the right way. And I look at this locker room, guys like CJ, who he spent his whole life winning, right? He's Alabama winning, goes to Baltimore, he's winning, and now he comes here and he sees it where we don't get the benefit of the doubt. And it's deserved, from a media standpoint. One loss is disaster. It's just, and so is it frustrating for someone in his shoes? Absolutely, it's frustrating for me. But at the same time, it's guys like CJ who are going to get this thing turned around. And when we look back at this 3-4 years from now, and why we're in the playoffs and why we're competing for Super Bowls, guys like CJ Mosley, Foley, Quinnen Williams, on offense, I can name a lot of guys. They're the reason why this is going to work. And I just, you just tell guys continue to hold on to the rope and keep fighting for what is going to happen.
Robert, can you address the kicker situation?
I think we signed another kicker. I think we're bringing Pinero, I believe it is. So he's getting an opportunity.
I have to ask the weekly Mekhi Becton question. So any hope for him to practice this week?
No, I don't have an update right now on Mekhi. So everything's
Robert, the calendar, just to follow up on the calendar's running short now. You only got 5 weeks left. So is it still realistic just to think how much practice time he would need to be able to get in the lineup? Are you less confident that he'll even play this year?
I'll get a chance over the next couple of days again. And I'm sorry, Rich, is shorthand this question, but from an update standpoint, any answer I give you right now wouldn't do you any justice.
So I could ask you again on Wednesday for the weekly question?
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Recording
Thanks,
stopped.
everyone. We'll go back into the waiting room right now.